In the ever-intensifying battleground of Texas politics, a new firestorm has erupted, one that pits Attorney General Ken Paxton against former Congressman and gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke in a legal and ideological clash that could reshape the state's political landscape. The controversy centers around Paxton's explosive demand that O'Rourke be jailed for allegedly violating a court order by fundraising in support of Democratic lawmakers who staged a dramatic walkout during the state's redistricting battle. Paxton claims that O'Rourke's actions amounted to contempt of court, accusing him of offering what he calls Beto Bribes to lawmakers who defied quorum rules and fled the Capitol. O'Rourke's team, meanwhile, has fired back, calling the accusations politically motivated, legally baseless, and a dangerous escalation of partisan warfare. The result is a high-stakes showdown that blends courtroom drama, campaign strategy, and constitutional questions, all unfolding under the national spotlight. The roots of the conflict trace back to the summer of 2025, when Texas Democrats staged a walkout to block a controversial redistricting bill that critics said would dilute minority voting power and entrench Republican dominance. The walkout, which mirrored a similar maneuver in 2021, saw dozens of lawmakers leave the state to prevent a quorum, effectively halting legislative proceedings. In response, Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Paxton vowed swift legal retaliation, securing a temporary injunction that barred fundraising efforts tied to the walkout. Enter Beto O'Rourke, a longtime critic of Texas GOP leadership and a vocal supporter of voting rights, who launched a fundraising campaign to support the absent lawmakers. The campaign raised thousands of dollars and drew national attention. But Paxton argues it violated the court order and undermined the rule of law. In a fiery court filing, Paxton demanded that O'Rourke be held in contempt and jailed immediately. "This is not about politics," Paxton wrote. "It's about accountability. No one is above the law, not even Beto O'Rourke." The filing accuses O'Rourke of knowingly defying the injunction, using his platform to incentivize illegal behavior and eroding public trust in the judicial system. Paxton's allies have echoed the sentiment, framing the move as a necessary defense of institutional integrity. But critics see it differently. Legal experts have questioned the validity of the injunction itself, arguing that it may infringe on First Amendment rights. O'Rourke's legal team has filed a motion to dismiss, calling the contempt charge a political stunt designed to silence dissent and intimidate opposition. The courtroom battle has quickly spilled into the public arena. News outlets across the country have picked up the story, with headlines ranging from "Paxton targets O'Rourke in legal blitz" to "Texas AG escalates war on Democrats." Social media is ablaze with commentary, memes, and hashtags like #Beto Bribes and #Paxton Power Trip. Supporters of O'Rourke have rallied behind him, praising his defiance and framing him as a champion of democratic resistance. Paxton's base, meanwhile, sees the move as a bold stand against lawlessness and political gamesmanship. The polarization is palpable, and the stakes are rising. At the heart of the controversy is a deeper question: can political fundraising be criminalized when tied to acts of civil disobedience? The answer isn't simple. On one hand, courts have long upheld the right to protest and support political causes. On the other, elected officials are bound by legislative rules and legal constraints. The walkout itself was a strategic maneuver, but was it illegal? And if so, does supporting it financially constitute contempt? These are the questions now facing the Texas judiciary, and their answers could set precedent for future political conflicts across the country. The personalities involved only add fuel to the fire. Ken Paxton, a staunch Trump ally, has built his career on legal battles that often blur the line between law and politics. He's currently under investigation for alleged abuse of office, and critics argue that his pursuit of O'Rourke is a distraction from his own legal troubles. Beto O'Rourke, meanwhile, has become a symbol of progressive resistance in Texas, a charismatic figure who has challenged the state's conservative establishment at every turn. Their clash is more than legal, it's ideological. It's a battle for the soul of Texas politics, and both men are fighting to define the narrative. As the case moves forward, the implications are enormous. If Paxton succeeds, it could embolden other state officials to use legal tools against political opponents. If O'Rourke prevails, it could reaffirm the boundaries of free speech and political activism. Either way, the outcome will reverberate far beyond the courtroom. It will shape how campaigns are run, how protests are supported, and how power is wielded in an increasingly divided America.